Hey Buffy fans, I am officially on season 5 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Now, I have to be the bearer of bad news here. I'm so sorry to tell you all this, but I know who Dawn is already. I'm sorry. It wasn't because I was spoiled. I actually experienced this organically with no spoilers and was outrageously confused for many episodes. However, I watched this run of episodes when I was sick. And the problem was because I didn't have any spoilers and you all didn't know I was sick, no one knew which episodes I was approaching, and I didn't know anything crazy was going to happen at the beginning of season 5, especially nothing like this. So I watched them and took notes on them. And then I later revealed to people that I had gotten quite far ahead on my watch, but was very far behind on making videos. And some people were like, no, because they wanted to gaslight me about Dawn. Apparently, that's a rite of passage for Buffy fans. I'm so sorry. You're not gonna be able to do that because I do know who she is. At this point in time, I think, let me check my notes. I think I've gotten up to episode 6 of Buffy. So that being said, I am going to go through my notes and talk about what I was thinking and feeling at the time with the added context of I know who she is, which is going to ruin the fun for some of you. I apologize, but I still have thoughts and feelings on it. So if that interests you, stick around, and let's get right to it. So episode 1 is called Buffy versus Dracula, and it's silly goofy in a lot of ways. Mostly because Dracula looks like a member of the Volturi to me, and I couldn't get it out of my head this whole episode. And some aspects of the Dracula character, I'm like, okay, sure. Beginning of the episode I thought was cute because we get a little beach day with them all. Willow does in fact ruin it by kind of summoning a rainstorm by mistake. Oops. And then we get the bomb dropped that Giles is planning on going back to England, which we can't have. We absolutely can't have that. Thankfully that's rectified later, but that had me scared. I was like, oh my god, does Anthony Head leave the show at this point? I don't know anything. I don't know any spoilers. So anything is possible. This show constantly surprises me, which fills me with terror around every turn. Another funny line from Xander where he turns to Dracula and he goes, "Where'd you get that accent from? Sesame Street?" Funny as hell. However, the joke is on him though because he does fall under the influence of Dracula for the rest of the episode. He like eats a spider at one point. He's like very much like, "Oh my god, Dracula, my lord and savior." It's very weird. It's very weird. So something I've noticed about the beginning of this season is that this show seems to be lit differently and shot differently than it was in the past. Now, if anyone has any insight on this, please let me know, because immediately I was like, oh, this show looks different. I don't know if I like it. It's a lot brighter than it normally is. It felt there's a scene in Giles's house that felt like it was shot like a sitcom, and I did not like it. I was like, I don't know what's happening here. I hope the director's just taking swings and they stop doing that after this episode, because it's really not my favorite. Anyways, back to Dracula. Him calling Xander strange and off-putting was funny. I won't lie to you. However, the dynamic between Spike and Dracula, I was like, Spike, hi, good to see you. Do you have a history with Dracula? Like, what's going on there? What's going on? I have questions. Thing that had me with my eyebrows all the way up to my hairline was Dracula thirsting over Buffy and being like, Angel was not worthy, and then like sensually biting her neck. And I was like, wait a second, is this a dream? Did this actually happen? I was so confused, y'all. I was like, what's happening? I don't like this. It's at this point in the episode where I feel like the writing kind of goes downhill. Like, we have like Xander and Buffy obsessed with Dracula, and it's like very weird, and I don't know, it just like wasn't for me. Buffy snaps out of it and ends up fighting him with her pink pants, her pink leather pants, which I love. But then we have like Giles, and he's being like pinned down by these 3 women sexually, and he like likes it, but he doesn't. I don't really know what's going on there. I don't know, you guys. It just like wasn't my favorite. Skipping past all that, the most important part of this episode, I think, is the end, and that's the scene between Giles and Buffy, where Buffy is like, hey, I understand you're no longer my watcher, but like, I really want you to be here for this next stage of my life. Like, she's a young woman and still needs him in different ways now. Like, that role that sort of he has in her life is evolving, and he's so excited to like be needed again. It's really incredible. Like that whole scene was very heartwarming. And then we have the Dawn reveal. Buffy has a sister? What? Okay, so episode 2 is titled Real Me. And we start off with Buffy in like intense, crazy training, like handstand, headstand on a block. I don't know what's going on, but like Giles has doubled down on training her. And Dawn Summers is in the title card of the new season of Buffy, which means she's a series regular. So at this point in time, you guys, I'm gonna take you back for a second. I was like, what the fuck is happening? What is happening? Hold on. Who is this girl? I was like, did I miss something? Did I miss something big? Because she went from being a reveal at the end to now she's in the title card. I feel like I've missed something. That was by design, apparently. So the second episode is called Real Me, and this is where I started to go full-blown crazy over what the hell was happening with this Dawn character. Because at this point in time, I obviously had no idea what was going on. And now suddenly this character is in the main title sequence of the show, so clearly she's a series regular. I've never seen this girl before ever in my life, except for at the reveal of the previous episode. And they are all acting like she has been here the whole time. I was not well, you guys. I was like, wait, half of my notes for this episode are just me going, who the hell is Dawn? Who is this random 14-year-old girl? Why are they all acting like she's been here the whole time? There's no way. And then I'm like gaslighting myself. I'm going, did I forget something? Did I miss something huge? Did they mention Dawn? And then I was trying to like justify it in my head. I was like, okay, maybe she was like Buffy's dad's daughter from like a different marriage, and then now she's coming to live with them. Like, I was trying to like make it make sense in my head. By the way, nothing that I guessed ended up being the truth, but in the moment I was firing out headcanons left and right. I was like, okay, maybe it's this, okay, maybe it's that, okay, maybe it's this. There did get to be a point where I was so pissed off that they weren't explaining it to me over multiple episodes that I was like, so if they don't fucking tell me in like soon, I'm gonna crash out negative. It was starting to affect and impact my view of the show, because I'm like, if they're not going to explain this, and if they're just gonna retcon Buffy's entire upbringing for who knows why, I was like, that's gonna be awful writing, and that is gonna make me disappointed in the show. So I'm glad I didn't like spew my hatred online during all of that, and that I got to like experience the arc, and now I'm going to make videos about it, because now I get what they're doing, and I'm like, okay. I will say, this must have been torture to watch week to week, because watching it episode to episode was torture enough. I can't imagine waiting a week in between every episode for them to not tell you anything and just like assume you know what's going on. It's crazy levels of gaslighting. Also, I'm sorry, I'm gonna say it, Dawn is hella annoying. She's annoying as fuck. She's this 14-year-old girl who is all up in Buffy's business all the time. She's rude and mean, low-key, and everyone kind of fawns all over her, you know, except for Buffy, and she makes boneheaded mistakes left and right, which, now I have the added context. I'm like, okay, so she's the archetype of a 14-year-old girl. That's why she has all these personality traits. That's why it's kind of stereotypical in a lot of ways. There is a point and a reason to that. But let me tell you, in the moment, it was pissing me off. But now I have context, I understand. I still find her enormously annoying. Also, the whole thing where, like, she's obsessed with Xander. Girl. Meanwhile, we have Giles in a midlife crisis. He's got a new car. But at the same time, he is training Buffy like it's day one again. And she is doing headstands on blocks. It's crazy. Like, we're doubling down with the Buffy training, which I like. I like that she just didn't stop learning, that she's always improving her skills and becoming better and stronger. I think that's really cool. Harmony's a pretty big part of this episode, but to be honest, I find her annoying and I don't really care about that character, like, at all. She's just kind of stupid in there. There's a cool, like, Spike Harmony reunion. Their dynamic is always kind of interesting, but she's otherwise, like, pretty useless. I did like the scene at the end, though, where, like, Buffy easily slays all of Harmony's minions, like that, and then ends up staking Mort or whatever his name is with a unicorn horn. That was a nice little added touch. I liked that. And we get the beginning of magic shop owner Giles, which begins like a new era, a new location on the show, which I'm really excited to talk about when it becomes more prominent. Normally, I would split this video up a bit more because it's so long and there's so much happening in these episodes, but I really want to get these out to you and get back on my Buffy watch because right now I've paused my watch until I catch up on making videos. So right now I'm just trying to get them out. So I am going to squeeze this one into this video. Apologies for the length. We're going to talk about episode 3, The Replacement, which is a Xander heavy episode. Now, if you recall, in season 4, I was a bit weary about how much they had sidelined Xander and Anya. It makes sense given how big the ensemble is, but like I was getting bored with their characters, so I'm really glad they kind of gave an episode that centered on the two of them, specifically Xander, and gave him a little something that evolved his character, which I really needed because, again, was getting very bored with his character. Now, we get some added emphasis at the top of the episode that Xander's parents are like... It is a really unhealthy dynamic in that house, and it is sort of the inciting incident to get Xander to want to finally move out. Thank God. Thank God. We have Xander and Anya fighting in like the middle of this apartment tour because Anya really wants a specific lifestyle and he's like, well, okay, like maybe we think about this more. Anya was annoying the fuck out of me in this episode. I was like, girl, I need you to relax. Please relax. We get some Halloween Town looking skeleton monster. Xander gets zapped. Xander gets duplicated. We have 2 Xanders in this episode. We have Xander and Xander 2.0. And Xander 2.0 is suave, is confident, is a version of Xander we have never seen before. It was fascinating to watch. Now, I am aware that this actor who unfortunately passed recently has a twin. Did the twin play the other Xander, or was it that actor playing both characters? It's the same character, but it's 2 versions of the same character. You know what I'm saying? Were the sets of twins playing the 2 Xanders, or was it just the main actor? Someone clarify that for me, because I've heard whisperings that there's a twin out there that made an appearance at some point, and I'm wondering if it's this episode. Anyway, Xander 2.0 is making crazy gains. I mean, he signs a lease, he like gets a promotion at his job. Meanwhile, Xander 1.0 is doing some crazy Snoopy dance. I don't know what's going on there, but like it is embarrassing for him. And you know, he goes to Willow to be like, hey, like this crazy thing is happening, you won't believe it. And the tea that she clocks is that, you thought about Anya last? Maybe look into that. I agree, Willow. Like, I don't think Xander loves Anya like Anya loves Xander. I've thought that for a while, and I will continue to think that. I gained a bit of sympathy for Anya, realizing that she was just terrified of mortality, and that's why she's acting a little bit crazier than usual. I was like, okay, I'll give her that. What I found fascinating about this episode, though, was that this whole time, these 2 Xanders are actually the same Xander. It's just split into 2. It's the 2 sides of himself, and they were originally supposed to do that to Buffy to separate her Slayer side from her human side, which is really interesting because it means that both of those sides are within Xander. He just has to, like, utilize them and call upon them, which is an amazing realization for a character. I really hope this transformational experience carries over for Xander because I think it makes his character more interesting. I really hope they don't revert him back to being kind of like an empty vessel for like comedic relief and they continue to give him more substance as he grows up. I just find it more interesting to watch. So that's my hope for that character. But beyond that, for this episode, I mean, we have Riley at the end being really weird because he's like so desperately in love with Buffy. And then he's like, but she doesn't love me. I was like, why would you say that? What leads you to believe that? Riley, don't piss me off. Because up to this point, I really actually like Riley. I don't know why so many of you don't like him. Don't tell me why. I don't want to know. Because if it's a spoiler, I don't want to know. But I like him as a boyfriend for her, but he's starting to act a little strange. So put a pin in that one. All right, y'all, my next set of videos will be covering the next few episodes of Angel, specifically episodes 4, 5, and 6 of season 2 of Angel. So I will see you then.